it right here quickly. So A session had a really, really wide range. And there's something that happened today that I have not seen, I would say, in a very long time. Does anyone know what that is?
B session.
Say it again.
Is it
B
the poor
session
low
inside
left
bar?
behind?
Sorry, I'm
Sorry, go ahead.
I
Erica,
said
go
the
ahead.
poor low left behind. The poor low left behind.
Yeah, we do definitely have a poor low, which is right here sitting at 401. Let's see if somebody remembers when we did like one of the first two classes of market profile. I said it only happens once in a blue moon. If you get to see it, you should write it down in your journal.
B session inside bar?
It's called Pioneer Range. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, Carlos got it. Yeah, it's a very rare occurrence if the A period sets the initial balance, right? And that's exactly what happened today. So that's called Pioneer Range. Typically, the break of A then is a go ahead, right? And you had two signals today that gave you that go ahead. You have a Pioneer Range set up in the A period, and then you have the C period that matches the A low, right? If you're not able to crack the A low with all the selling, then most likely you're going to be cracking to the upside, and that's kind of what they did, right? They ran it much higher, and then you see, even though when you look at these, each period, for instance, E, just want to give you guys a little bit of sense that it was not an easy day to trade. They kept dipping below 50% almost on every single one of these. And it was not easy, I would say, to figure out, exact bounce levels. And sometimes, like I said, it's better not to trade than it is to trade, right? And usually when it's news, and you guys probably know this, I don't trade a lot. When it's these, I'm not going to miss an opportunity to trade because there's a market day after and so on. But there is a setup for tomorrow that we want to watch, right? So they consolidated here a little bit. Then they had an L period that was an outside bar, meaning it went above the K, below the K. And I even said it a few times in the call. If we were able to crack the L, most likely that we were going to go, I said 62 to 64. If you guys were on the live, and I think we came in very close, 61.25. And that was about 10 points that we were targeting at one point. Considering tomorrow, so the L period was your high period here. I can just increase this a little bit so you guys can see it. So L period marked the high of the day before the last period, and M, right? And that would be our base spike, right? So based on the class that we had, I don't want Erica, I don't want any of the new people, I want College Cash, Mike G, I want you to respond to this. How would you play this? What does this mean? Like, these two levels, so what? College Cash, you want to go? He's like, I don't want to talk to you. Okay, that's fair. That's being honest. I know I'm looking at the list. I know who knows. No, Andres knows. SB, do you know the answer? I think SB knows this. Is there anyone that doesn't know? Let's just, how would you play this? Is there anyone that doesn't know about besides College Cash?
If you go and we open tomorrow and it's within the base spike, it means that prices are being accepted.
That's correct. That is 100% correct. So if you guys remember, we had two boxes, right? Like almost three boxes. If we open below the base spike, that's fairly bearish. That means this price action was rejected. There's at least a high chance you're going to come back from here all the way to this POC, which is what, about 7 points. But ultimately, we would be targeting, somewhere around here, 38 or so for a revisit. Okay. If we open in between the base spike and the base end, which is your M period where it caused the spike, right? The spike started here, spike ended here. If we open anywhere in between this section here, this means that you're semi-bullish, right? You're not rejecting this below, but your confidence not really high that you want to continue higher tomorrow. So if you open here, you're not really looking for puts. Unless we crack this level, then we're looking potentially for some puts below that, okay? And then the bullish outcome, like a really, really bullish outcome, is if we open above this, right? If you open somewhere here above this, 61.25, that's extremely bullish, and there's a high chance, you're breaking the range, you're breaking higher, and most likely we're going to continue. And then we would talk about the next levels above that we have. Does that make sense to most?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So now looking at the levels that we have, right, and just kind of zoom out. I'm going to collapse this since everybody's ready for this tomorrow. Let's see. Just going to increase this. All right. So when you think about like the bigger picture where we are, and I'm just going to hide for a moment the drawings. So when you look at this, right, and when you think about balance, imbalance, right, we came in, we put in a low, we put in a lot of access here at 88, 89 level, and we started grinding. This was a key zone for us that we said, if you guys recall, if we were able to go over this, we were targeting 44, if you guys remember, to fill the gap. And obviously we did that. So now when you look at the price action, so we went imbalance here, and now we're trying to get back inside this balance. So there's a couple of things you could do, right? You could look at this as a range right here, right? I would typically look at something like this, right? If this is the range, can we trade inside of here? If they do claim acceptance, and you'll see this little yellow bar that's hiding now below that says it has to hold for bullish outcomes, right? We really have to hold the zone in order to stay bullish, and then we would target potentially this 5526 level here, which is our 3-month CPOC. In between these levels, right, this one and the 30 or 26, I'm sorry, there's some levels in between that you have to be cautious about, right? So I'll go kind of over those so you guys get the idea where I'm getting those, right? So first of all, I don't know if you guys use fibs. Is there anyone that doesn't know how to use fibs? Everybody knows how to use fibs?
Still get confused on the placement of them.
Okay, so let's fix that, right? Okay, if you think about, fibs, I'm gonna delete them so I can redo it. What you're looking for when you have this is a swing high, I would say, right? So this would be your swing high here, and this would be your swing low on the bottom, right here. So what we're, okay, guys.
Shorty, I don't mean to interrupt you, but why would you choose that as the swing high instead of the previous high? Or if you zoom in, sorry, the high in the middle. Where
This one
the
here?
yes, sir.
Yeah, but this is a whole trend. This was just a dead cat bounce.
Okay.
Yep. So I'm picking this as a whole move from point high to point low. You're looking to see where are the major fibs, and these fibs would be pretty powerful because you're grabbing them first of all from all-time highs, right? And what the fibs are trying to do, so if you guys are not familiar, right, it's basically your circle of life that everybody kind of talks about, right? What the fibs do. I can't even delete stuff now. Okay. So you're basically looking for symmetry, right? From this move to this move, I want to find that golden ratio, the 61 to 70%. So if I want to know where it's going to reject, I'm looking from the top to the bottom. If I'm looking for support, I'm looking from the bottom to the top. So let me kind of write that down. For rejections, I'm grabbing swing high to swing low. For support, I'm grabbing swing low to swing high, right? And you're looking retracement levels 38.2, you're looking at 50%, 61.8, and then 70.6. This is the ones I care for. If you guys care about others, that's great for you. I don't care for anything else. So now when you think about this whole, what we have going on here is that we had a high that was put in here at 5721. and then you have a low that was put in here. So I have them saved, right? I can check these real quick. And you would see, I don't typically use 382 a lot, but unless we're in a strong trend. But these are the ones that I care for potential rejections, right? And then when you zoom in, some of the, you would have a little bit of confluence in some of these levels. So for instance, if you look here, that 61.8 as a confluence level, really with a level that was there before the fibs, right? And then you have 70.5 at 5544, slightly above my level of 70%, which is the golden ratio of this rejection, right? Golden ratio means that this is the 61.8. That's a really important fib in terms of using fibs as support and resistance levels. And you can use this, I would say, on any time frame, right? So if, for instance, if you look at, here's probably not the best day, but if you look at, for instance, 5 minutes, right? If I look at this swing high, right? If it's sitting right here, and I go to the swing low right here, what I want to know now, don't get confused on this. I can do a class on this. I want to know from here to here, if we're to replicate this move, where's the 127% and where's the 1618? So now you will see the 127 hit really nice. And I would say the 1618 at a moment, right? When we reject it, it hit pretty nice. And I'm only grabbing to see, certain moves from here to here. Does that make sense? And it can also go smaller, right? If you're a scalper, I have friends that use much smaller levels, right? I could definitely use from this high to this low, this crazy drop that they had today. If I look at this, look, a grab here, hit the 127 and hit the 1618 to a penny. So you can use fibs, and I just grabbed high to low because I'm looking for extensions. When you're looking for retracements and you want a rejection, you want to go high to low for rejections and low to high for support. So for instance, on SPY, high to low, and I would just change this to retracements. And look where we are. The 61.8 is coming up to the biggest node that we have since June or May 20th. This is the POC, I would say, for that. You guys see that?
Yeah.
And this would be the level, for potentially a smackdown on SPY. Right here. And I'm pretty sure we're going to tap this tomorrow. This is a really, really important level for SPY tomorrow. So fibs, does that make sense what we covered? You have to kind of practice them, but they're fairly easy. Low to high support, high to low rejections when they're using retracements. Does that make sense, Mike?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. All right. So now when looking at the remainder of the levels, there's a level on the single day that you guys want to be aware of on single TPOs. Let them come up here. So if you guys look at this day, and I don't know if you guys remember how bad or not bad, but like how wide of a range this day had. Do you guys recall this? Like it was like 100 and something points. I think 156, if I remember. 150, I thought it was 156. Okay, maybe I'm lying. 158. So now if you look at the zone here, do you guys see anything here that's interesting? Do you guys see, for instance, right here?
Fingerprints.
There's a bunch of single prints, right? So, and I usually mark them with dotted lines. These are all single prints here. And then if you go here, and I'll lower this for a second to 1, pay attention to the yellow zone here, because that zone is the first zone that we're coming up to. And you'll see now when that expands, this is actually a nice distribution of value on this day. So I'll give it a second to refresh. I don't know why it takes so long. So take a look at this now. Do you guys see this little zone that breaks? Basically, you see how they came back, retested, and left the zone of separation, clear separation of value. And not a lot of, I would say, TPOs here. I think it was 5 wide or 4 wide, 5 wide. And then on top, the wide we have is 3 TPO, 2, 3, and then a bunch of single prints again. And I would say pretty massive single prints on the top. So this zone here that I marked, the 91, is coming directly from the single prints of that crazy date that we had. I think this is a big zone because you have a confluence. You have a confluence of 618, and this is the most important fib on your chart. This one plus this, I would say single print zone gives you a little bit confluence that we might crack. And then right above that, you have the prior 2 week balance POC. So all I did is I grabbed the 2 weeks that we had, right, from here, and I drew it, and it gave me a POC, and that's kind of where it's falling right now. And this is how I got my next levels, right? So if you're able to go above, the 60, I'm pretty sure that they're going to tap somewhere in between these two. I would say this value area high to here would be the next level. Then you have 90, 501, 513, 523. It doesn't mean it's going to reject to these levels. I use these levels as profit targets, right? And I'm aware these levels could initiate selling. So if I'm coming to 90, would I be careful here? Yeah, definitely. Would 80 be as heavy as 90? No, but I would be cautious here because this is where the selling came in again. Came in, and this was kind of the lower high. And then if they can reclaim this on a selling day, it opens up the doors all the way to 55.20 or so based on the value, because they would be reclaiming here like they did. They already reclaimed it. If they can pop here, it really opens up the doors for them because there's not a lot of structure, guys. So if they crack this, they crack above 90, then we're looking, full retracement, probably to 55.26, which could happen this week with the PPI tomorrow. Okay, so that level I got prior balance 2-month POC. That's how I got that. Weekly VPOC, that means I just looked at the weekly chart. Now I can bring it up. Let's see, like this one. I think I was on PVP, sorry. Yep. But I was off. So you have a VPOC here, 504. So this zone here, when you think about it, you have 2 weeks of, cumulative POC and this virgin POC. That becomes a really heavy zone for them to crack, because that's where the fair.
Do we want ETH for that one?
No, I'm not using it. And it doesn't change, I would say. Let's see if it shifts. Oh, that's where I got it, I guess, from earlier. That's where I got it. I would stick with this one because I remember 505 having a massive delta there before, so I would probably stick with this. I would just stick with RTH all around, honestly. And then ultimately you see that there's skinny belly, and then if they're able to crack this level 26, and ultimately you're opening the doors all the way at 73. But this right here, where we are hitting 5526 or 5504, you want to watch maybe even SPY tomorrow and see when they hit that CPOC on SPY, and where's ES at that time, and see how does it play out. Because I think there's a high chance that they're going to be in sync when they reject that level. Okay. Does it make sense how I got the levels?
Yeah.
Okay. Tomorrow, like I said, I'm watching for this base. For me, it's all about, I guess, this. And I don't know, I guess we're just dancing here right now. We're not really doing much, just giving bullish looks.
For now, are you more inclined to trade tomorrow, even though there's still news, just because we actually have some structure with the base?
I would look at this in the morning, this setup, and see if I can be done with one trade and log off.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to see how they do the base and how they play it out tomorrow. Other than that, I mean, if they're giving you a day like today, to me, I hate trading days like today. They're not my, I would say, favorite days. You have a gap, and then you have news. Then they sold it off right before the news, and then they did this. I mean, you crank it up from 7 to here, 80 points. I mean, for me, the mindset that I have sometimes like this, like, okay, I got to reject somewhere, and I would go short here, and then they would spike it and I would be stopped, even though I was up probably $500-600. I'm looking for more, and then I get stopped because of my levels that I'm playing. So I prefer not to, because I learned the hard way not to play it.
Gotcha. Thank you.
And you'll learn this as a trader. You'll learn what works, what doesn't work, and you have to respect yourself. Because if you don't, nobody else will. So that's the hardest part, the discipline.
I really like the boxes you've been drawing.
Well, those are just, I mean, we've been doing some weird shit, right? Where you're doing like this price action, and then out of the box, you're coming back and retest. And think about it, boxes are nothing more but what? They're just your balances, guys. They're just
areas, ranges.
That's your range and the pure balance. Like for instance, if you look at this is a balance play. There's one inside of that right here. If you're accepting the bottom like you are here, maybe a retest of that and you go long, or pretend you lose a reclaim and you go higher, right? And that's simply Wyckoff theory, right? So effort and result. And, I mean, today I played boxes a little bit. On NQ at least. NQ had some decent at the end. Here, this one. I don't know if you guys remember, I was live. They broke here and we said if they come back to it, look at this. They went higher and look at the comeback. And then they broke the high and then we're back inside another box. And you're able to tell quickly, for instance, where's the, even on 10 minutes, you can tell quickly where are these ranges, right? If you train your eye a little bit, and even if you switch to these candles, Ashis, they might give you a better view. But for instance, if you look right here, this looks like a decent box, right? And then if you check volume, they give you a lot of information, right? So if you look here, the buying came in, if you guys pay attention, buying came in outside the box. And then you see the selling picking up. Selling picked up, but look at the buying here that came in. Pretty aggressive. Really no sell candles till 140 today. And then they executed another one, right? They did this one here. So that's how I see it, right? Balance to imbalance, imbalance to balance, and so on. Okay. All right, guys. I'll be live in the morning. See how we do the base spike, and then we can go from there. Let's see if they change the model of how they're playing, because everything right now is framing up on ES in terms of daily. So let's see what they're able to do here. Okay. Any questions? All right, guys. See you guys tomorrow morning.
Thank you,
Shorty.
Bye-bye.